Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC 322. In today's matchup, we have a welterweight, a fight that kind of feels like a clash of eras, as Leon Edwards takes on Carlos Prates. As for Leon Edwards, you have one of the most technical champions the welterweight division had ever seen. Calm, calculated, almost always in control of the moment. And if you let him slow a fight down, you're essentially going to let Leon Edwards, or excuse me, write exactly how he wants the fight to proceed. And from there, he'll read you like a book and make you pay for every mistake. Now he takes on Carlos Prates, one of the sharpest, coldest finishers rising through the ranks, and a man who fights with almost a true belief that he belongs in the title discussions already. He's smooth, patient, and brutally accurate. I mean, he has some of the best walk-off knockouts right now of the welterweight rankings. And boy, let me just say, these next four fights, three of them on this main card, you have three very important welterweight fights, and I feel like it kind of hammers in a point that I've thought about for a while. Welterweight division might be the best division right now in the UFC. You got JDM as a champ. You have Islam in this weight class now. You got Bilal. You got Gary. You got Shafkat. Brady Morales who are also on this card. And so many more talented welterweights. I know bantamweight's still probably the most cutthroat, and lightweight is still everyone's favorite division. But for my money, I think welterweight is the best division in the UFC right now. And in this matchup, you have a perfect contrast of styles: precision versus power, experience versus momentum, and rhythm control versus the ability to break rhythm with one clean shot. So, without further ado, let's dive deeper, calm, technical, and measured. So, looking at kind of the context for this, you got Leon Edwards, who's been an elite competitor for a very long time, and his rise was not really fast because he was not the most entertaining on the mic. And at this time, the welterweight division was, the top was run by like Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, Usman at the top. More so fighters who could promote the fight rather than like the most skilled getting the shot. So for Leon Edwards, it was mostly just win after win, adjustment after adjustment, him just slowly climbing up this ranks. And eventually, after it was an 11 fight win streak, I believe, when he fought Usman, or 10 fight win streak, he finally got his title shot. And, he did it by sharpening his counter striking, improving his wrestling defense, and polishing his clinch game. Eventually became champion by staying composed under immense pressure. I mean, I don't know why some people call Edwards' head kick over Usman luck. It's not luck, man. He drilled that shit many, many times. That's years of discipline and building a toolkit that was always one step ahead of everyone else. And since then, he's carried himself. He carried himself like a champion for a little while. Calm, calculated. But at times, it does feel like he overlooked his opponents. Now, in his rematch with Usman in the trilogy, he looked like the best welterweight in the world. In the Colby fight, he looked good. I mean, he won the fight clearly, but it's not an entertaining fight. And then he got out wrestled by Bilal Muhammad, and where clearly Muhammad was a man on a mission that day. And, to be fair, championships comes with mileage. Fighters study you differently. Every contender trains with you in mind. And, the division evolves, and eventually the division kind of went past Edwards, as after the Bilal fight, he lost to Sean Brady pretty handily. Granted, I think Sean Brady is one of the best in this weight class and probably should fight for a title if he wins his next fight. But it's still, this division might be moving past Edwards. Now, that's where Carlos Prates comes in. Still relatively new to the UFC. He's only been in the promotion for about a year. He made his debut in February of 2024. He already comes in with so much aura, that confidence, momentum, and sense of danger in every single exchange. Now, make no mistake, he's not a brawler by any stretch. He's a sniper like Edwards, but a much more dangerous sniper, one who's willing to press the action forward. And, Prates comes from the Fighting Nerds gym. Now, I know they've taken some L's of recent, like with Rufi, Bohalio, and Silva recently coming off losses. But right now, Prates is coming off a huge win against Jeff Neal and kind of starting this 2025, the year of spinning back elbows. In fact, you look at, besides his one loss to Ian Gary, Prates has been smoking people. Trevin Giles, Charles Radke, Li Jing Liang, Neil Magny, like I said, Jeff Neal. But without further ado, let's get into their styles. So looking at Leon Edwards, his style is kind of built off the fundamentals, and they're sharpened to a razor's edge. He's very tall for the division, uses long-range weapons, and makes you hesitate every time you step in. His jab is easily one of his best tools, quick, straight, and not just to score, but very good at controlling that distance. And when he throws it, he doesn't always try to land. Sometimes it's simply just a probing strike, and sometimes he's good with measuring it or baiting his opponents into his left hand or left high kick, as Leon primarily fights out of the southpaw stance. Same as Prates, too. His kicking game is also very good. Edwards has really good rear kicks, like I said, from southpaw to the body and to the head. He's very good at disguising them and never really throwing them with much telegraph. I mean, that's how he caught Usman. Kind of throw the cross and at the same time leverage the rear head kick by masking it with the cross. He's also one of the few fighters who uses the clinch offensively without getting sloppy. Up close, he peppers his opponents with elbows, lifts the knee, or uses a clinch to pivot off and reset to his preferred range. Honestly, Edwards is probably one of the best clinch fighters in the welterweight division. And on the ground, he's actually pretty competent on the ground. Edwards is incredibly hard to control. You saw that in the Usman fights where Edwards got much better with his takedown defense. Specifically, he's very good at being incredibly hard, not just to control, but to take down. He's very good at with his balance, his hip, and awareness in the scrambles make him a nightmare for wrestlers. He's specifically very good at fighting grips and fighting 2-on-1 on the wrist. Now, I mean, said, I would say his biggest flaw has always been his occasional passivity. If you don't force Edwards to fight, he's content to stay patient, sometimes too patient. And fighters who can maintain pressure without making emotional mistakes or just leave themselves open to getting counter-strike, those are the ones who can draw him out of his comfort zone. As you saw with Brady and Bilal, they pressured Leon Edwards constantly in their fight and were very good at making him uncomfortable, but never making any mistakes in the striking to get caught very badly. Not to mention, in this fight, I've been thinking about this for a long time now. When was the last time Leon Edwards has actually fought a pure striker? Because I look back at his long win streak, and the only fighters I could think maybe were pure strikers, you can make the argument, were either Vicente Luque and Brian Barberena. I don't really count Luque because he does have some good grappling. Granted, I find Luque is more opportunistic with his grappling, while Brian Barberena is probably the only pure striker I think Leon has fought in years. Because you think of it like Bilal, wrestler, Brady, grappler, Colby, Usman, grapplers and / wrestlers, Nate Diaz, grappler, Donald Cerrone, more well-rounded, but he's got a really good guard and good striking, but I don't consider him a pure striker. So when I really think about it, Carlos Prates is the first pure striker Leon has fought in 5 or so years. Kind of crazy. Now looking at Carlos Prates, he is a completely different type of threat. He's not a wild man coming in with reckless aggression. He's a southpaw himself who fights with kind of like a seasoned poise to him. Calm eyes, tight guard, clean footwork, and a style built around timing and absolute destruction. Prates is, I would say, his preferred range would be the mid-range, which is the place most fighters avoid against someone like Leon Edwards. Mid-range is where Prates is very good at building his reads. He'll stay right in front of you, but just outside the pocket and forcing his opponents to show their intention. And in that moment he sees the habit, he can punish him. Specifically, that left straight of Prates is cannon. His right hook is a sniper shot, and those kicks come up fast, especially that left high kick he disguises with his jab. Prates is also very good at hand fighting his opponents, generally speaking. And usually he's fighting orthodox fighters, so he's very good at hand fighting with his lead hand, which is his right hand. And you saw with like Charles Radke, who has a very good left hook. Prates simply was hand fighting, caught the wrist of Radke, and then delivered a knee right to the liver. But I would say what makes Prates truly dangerous is how little energy you actually see him waste. He's very economical, very efficient. He's not going to throw to get a reaction. He throws because it's already calculated and that it's going to land. And I don't, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen Prates be a volume guy. That's not really him. He's mostly, and I wouldn't call him the sniper the same way Leon is, where Leon Leon's content to not only win off points, but content to stay on his back foot and force you to chase. Prates will press the issue, but oftentimes he's going to land the fight-ending blow or find the opening, but you don't see him throw a crazy amount of volume. Now, defensively speaking, he has a very tight, disciplined card, doesn't leave his chin hanging where the exit is often. And also, Prates, while at times you do see him fight with his hands down, he often has really good head movement as he's already made his reads, like against Jeff Neal. And that calm defensive responsibility is kind of rare when you see for some knockout artists, but it is what separates Prates from most of the other heavy hitters. He is dangerous without needing that chaos. And that's exactly the type of danger that could threaten someone like Leon Edwards. Now, when these two fight, I feel like it really just comes down to one simple question. Can Leon Edwards maintain control, or can Carlos Prates force him into exchanges Leon Edwards doesn't want to? Leon wants distance. He wants a technical fight. He wants to make Prates respect the jab, respect his kicks, respect the counters, and hesitate on entries. If Leon can keep Prates thinking instead of reacting, he wins the rounds. And he can make Prates kind of chase shadows for the 15 minutes. But here's the challenge. Prates is not the type of fighter to hesitate. He's comfortable walking forward behind a high guard, absorbing small shots to land big ones. He's patient, and Prates is patient enough not to get frustrated if Edwards is not going to engage. He'll chip, and he can just chip away with his leg kicks, force Leon laterally, and close off the cages. Especially in close, because Prates is going to be one of the few fighters, I think, who can handle Leon Edwards in the clinch, as Prates has very solid Muay Thai fundamentals. That's actually his base for MMA. Leon's defense works best against those straight line attacks or overly aggressive opponents. But Prates comes at angles, he sets traps, he doesn't rush into counters. He draws them out, and then he's going to fire back. Another issue for Leon Edwards, I feel like in this fight, is Leon likes to lean back from punches, and it works against fighters slower to him. But against someone who throws straight, fast left hands like Prates, leaning straight back is very dangerous. And one mistimed pullback, and I see Prates landing clean with that left cross. Now, this fight will have, I think, long stretches of patience, but that actually kind of benefits Prates, I think, more than what people will expect, because Leon is most dangerous when he gets reads early. But when you force him to adjust consistently, that kind of breaks Leon's rhythm. Prates is that kind of fighter, I think, who can force Leon into a slower pace, but a more dangerous one. The kind where both men are constantly waiting for the other to make that first mistake. And when it comes to punishing the mistake first, I think I would lean towards the fighter who hits harder, hits straighter, and hits with much more intent behind it. So for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates. I think Leon Edwards is elite. He's very clean, composed, one of the best technical strikers you're ever going to see in the welterweight division. But Prates brings a form of danger that Leon has not faced in a long time. When was the last time you can think of Leon Edwards fighting a knockout artist who's as patient and as skilled on the feet as Prates, especially a patient southpaw sniper with, like I said, that power Prates has? He doesn't fade, and his style is built to punish fighters who can rely on just rhythm and distance. Leon can win rounds here, and he can make this a chess match. He can frustrate Prates early, but over time, I think Prates' pressure, power, and calmness in the pocket start to tilt the fight in his favor. So once again, my official prediction, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates. I think he can knock out Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards has never been knocked out as a pro. I think Carlos Prates can do it. I think he find an opening maybe in the second and third round. And when Leon tries to reset or slip back off the center line, I think that's when Prates lands clean and ends the fight there. I think this is the type of fight where experience meets inevitability. And I think in this case, I got to go with Carlos Prates in this one. But however it plays out, this is going to be a beautiful matchup. Great timing versus technique, composure versus power. It's a fight where every small mistake matters, every read matters, and every moment could feel like the tide turns. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this shit. I truly believe this is a great technical kickboxing match. And that's why I'm super excited for this fight. Well, granted, I think all of 322 is amazing. But with that being said, that's been my breakdown of this fight. If you liked the video, like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. Stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see you all next time.